Welcome to the 2021 University of Wisconsin Law School virtual graduation celebration. On behalf of all my colleagues on the faculty and staff, I'm delighted to honor our 2021 graduates and to commend you all for the hard work and dedication that has brought you to this point. Congratulations. We are proud of all that you have accomplished, especially given the unprecedented challenges that have confronted this class in particular. Now, initially, we plan to host our annual hooding ceremony where faculty present our graduates with their doctoral hoods in person. Unfortunately, the pandemic made it impossible for us to hold an in-person event, but it was extremely important to everyone at the law school, myself included, that we have some opportunity to honor and recognize our graduates and your family and friends to commemorate this great and important moment in your lives. So as much as I wish I could see all of your smiling faces in person, I'm happy that we can at least be together virtually. All the graduating students had the opportunity to choose their speakers as usual, and you'll hear from them shortly. After that, there will be a formal roll call where each graduate will be recognized individually. We've also provided an online program. We'll print copies of that program and send them to each graduate as a keepsake. Now, to our graduates, first of all, I know this is not exactly the celebration you hoped for. Your class, more than any other, has been dramatically affected by the pandemic. Half of your 3 years here have been remote or in a hybrid setting. You've been mostly confined to your apartments or childhood homes with limited in-person contact with friends and classmates. And through all this, you've made it. You made it even as the world was experiencing evulsive and sometimes painful changes. Countries and borders have closed, friends and loved ones have gotten sick. We've lost many people. And our country has been shaken to the core by repeated reminders of persistent racial and social inequities that demand action from you and other smart, talented, and idealistic graduates. It is an era of big problems, to say the least. We are now called upon to envision what the new normal will look like after the pandemic, and to imagine what a more just society should look like. We need you, new lawyers, more than ever. We need you to be the change that our society so desperately needs. And if any group of freshly minted lawyers is up to the challenge, it's the class of 2021. No doubt we'll all look back at this time, and especially the last half of law school for you, as one of great upheaval. But having made it through law school, through everything that's been thrown at you, you must know in your heart of hearts that there is nothing you can't accomplish. So this is a day to commemorate how far you've come, to recognize the strength that lies in the UW Law community and in each of you, and to envision the opportunities that lie ahead. I hope you all will have some time to reflect on what you've accomplished, that you'll continue to learn from each other, and that you'll ask for help when you need it. I also hope that you'll stay true to the ideals that brought you to law school in the first place. The greatest fulfillment in life and in work is found in our connection to others and the world around us. Please ignore the lawyer jokes. The truth is that we need good lawyers more than ever. Lawyers with a conscience, lawyers who care about helping others, lawyers who can envision a more just world. In short, we need lawyers just like you. Many more challenges lie ahead of you, but you are up to them all. You have proven your resiliency. You know how to work together to care for others and to shift directions swiftly. You have the skill, knowledge, and vision to change the world for the better, because you are all Badgers, and that is what we Badgers do. Our next speaker is a UW Law graduate who has dedicated her life's work to public service. Her call to service came early in her legal career. She served on the Madison Common Council while in law school. After graduating from UW Law, she was elected to 4 terms on the Dane County Board of Supervisors. In 1992, she was elected to the Wisconsin State Assembly for the 78th District, serving 3 terms. In 1998, she became the state's first woman in Congress and the nation's first openly LGBT person elected to Congress. She served 7 terms in the House of Representatives, serving on the Budget Committee, the Judiciary Committee, and the Energy and Commerce Committee. In 2012, she was elected to the United States Senate, again making history as Wisconsin's first woman to serve in the United States Senate and its first openly LGBT member. She is a history maker who is committed to working across party lines to advance economic security for the middle class. She's a strong advocate for investing in education, workforce readiness, quality health care for all Americans, a strong manufacturing economy, and retirement security for today's seniors and for future generations. I'm thrilled she agreed to be here today. Please join me in welcoming Senator Tammy Baldwin.
Good afternoon. I'm United States Senator Tammy Baldwin, and I want to thank UW Law School Dean Dan Takashi for that kind introduction and for inviting me to join you all today. Welcome to this year's graduation ceremony. As you may know, I am a proud alumna of the University of Wisconsin School of Law, class of 1989, and it's truly such an honor to be your keynote speaker today. I'd like to start out with a couple of shout outs. Thank you to all of the faculty and staff who make UW Law School the world-class institution that it is. Thank you to all the parents and grandparents, aunts and uncles, friends and neighbors and siblings who are joining us virtually today and who have helped the class of 2021 reach this proud moment in their lives. And thank you to our graduating class for your shared commitment to upholding the Wisconsin idea. Like myself, each of you has a personal set of memories of this wonderful place. But along with those memories and your diplomas, you will carry something even more special. It's called the Wisconsin idea, and you will carry the legacy of this idea throughout your lives. To the graduating students, you have all persevered through a really challenging year. The pandemic has impacted every corner of our society, especially in our schools, colleges, and institutions of higher education. Everyone here worked really hard to move forward during these tough times to make today possible. So on behalf of the people of the state of Wisconsin, I join your families, your friends, your teachers in honoring you on this important day. Now, if you didn't know, I grew up in Madison and on this campus. My grandfather was on the faculty, my grandmother was a member of the staff, and my mother and father were both undergraduates when I was born. This is why I'm so proud to join all of you for this celebration, a celebration of your hard work, growth, and achievement. You did not come to school here because you wanted the piece of paper you are receiving. You came here because you wanted the chance to be change agents, guided by the legal philosophy this school subscribes to, law in action. That is the commitment to something bigger than yourselves that makes us all proud and should give you great pride as well. With your education, you have the tools to take action and make real change in your communities. Each of you will decide how to best use those tools. I remind all of us of our state's motto. It's just one word, forward. So go forward and be the change agents our communities and the world need right now. Go forward with a wide-eyed understanding that change will not come from Washington unless every citizen uses their power, your power, to demand action. Go forward to march in front of the generations that have failed to lead. It is you that will keep our promise to future generations and help us advance equality, equity, and justice for all. Again, congratulations to the class of 2021. Thank you and have a great day. And as always, on Wisconsin.
Thanks, Senator Baldwin, for those wonderful remarks. All of our speakers for today's program were nominated by members of our graduating class, which then voted to determine who would be our speakers. It is an honor to share this virtual stage with all of them. Our next speaker is Professor Miriam Seifter. Professor Seifter is Associate Professor and the Rowe Faculty Fellow in Regulatory Law here at UW. Her research and teaching interests include administrative law, federalism, state and local government law, energy law, and property law. She is an extremely active scholar, with her publications having appeared or forthcoming in the Harvard Law Review, the NYU Law Review, UCLA Law Review, Virginia Law Review, and many others. For her article, Gubernatorial Administration, Seifter was named the 2017 winner of the American Constitution Society's Richard D. Cudahy writing competition on regulatory and administrative law. Professor Seifter received a BA magna cum laude from Yale University, an MSc with distinction from Oxford University, and a JD magna cum laude from Harvard Law School. After law school, she served as a law clerk for Chief Judge Merrick Garland on the U.S. Court of Appeals for the D.C. Circuit, and for Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg on the Supreme Court of the United States. Prior to joining UW Law, she was a visiting researcher and adjunct law professor at Georgetown University Law Center and worked in private practice at Munger, Tolles & Olson in San Francisco. In addition to being a renowned scholar, Professor Seifter is a beloved teacher and mentor to many of our students. In 2017, UW Law students honored Professor Seifter with the Classroom Teacher of the Year Award. And in 2018, she received one of 12 Distinguished Teaching Awards from the University of Wisconsin-Madison. It is no surprise to me that she has been selected today to be the faculty speaker, a role that she has served more than once. Please join me in welcoming Professor Seifter to the virtual stage.
Dean Tokaji, Senator Baldwin, dearest colleagues and friends, parents and extended families, and most importantly, to the graduates of the class of 2021. Thank you so much for including me in your momentous day. You have achieved so much to make it to this day in such unbelievably challenging circumstances, and you deserve every bit of the joy and celebration that today entails. The jumping off point for my remarks today is a poem I admire, which happens to be a classic at graduations. In the poem A Summer Day by the great Mary Oliver, the narrator describes strolling through the fields of grass, kneeling down to see the grasshoppers, taking time to be idle, and it concludes with the lines, "Tell me, what else should I have done? Doesn't everything die at last and too soon? Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life?" This last couplet is very often recited at graduations and in yearbooks. You can buy some lovely crafts stitched with these lines on Etsy. Those who recite it evoke those romantic feelings that a graduation represents: optimism, carefreeness, endless possibility. But I come to you as a law professor, an overthinker by profession and personality, and I have a different and more boring take to offer. I want to use Mary Oliver's beautiful words to ask more literally, more naggingly, how will you spend your time? My pitch to you is that accounting for what you will do with the time you have, and regularly comparing that to the values you hold dear, is a mandatory professional and personal practice, one that you should start now if you haven't already, and continue regularly forever. So out of the beauty of the poem A Summer Day, I give you, for the last time in law school, a two-step test. Administrative law students just groaned, but at least this one doesn't have a step 0. Another groan. Here is the test. At step 1, ask, what do I value? And at step 2, ask, how am I spending my time? The presumption I encourage you to apply is that there should be a reasonable match, not a stark incongruity. We don't have to ask for perfection. But when you look at an accounting of how you spend your months, your days, your hours, can you see yourself in the picture that emerges? Let me start with the easier venue for this practice of reflection, and that is in your Professional life, your day job. On average, people employed full-time in the United States spend around 1,800 hours a year at work. Lawyers might spend considerably more. It's a lot of time. So it's good to reflect periodically and apply our test. At step 1, what do I value? It's not corny to ask yourself the big questions. Why did I come to law school? What do I dream of doing? Do I want to heal the planet? Help people who need it? Do I want to serve the public as a government official, a judge? Do I want to teach? What will you do with your wild and precious life? Your answers might not be the path of least resistance. Sometimes forging a match between your time and your values will take effort. Sometimes it will require you to go against the grain. At step 2, look back on how you are spending all that time at work. Are you good with how you're spending it? To some extent, this is a question about your big choices, like what line of work you will go into and where you will work. But finding that match between values and hours isn't just about those big, sweeping career choices. To butcher Mary Oliver's terms, it's not just about making sure you're in the right field of grass. You can also build the career you want, blade by tiny blade. In fact, that may be the most important application of our test because it's one that you can make progress on any given day. Maybe you want to get yourself in position to argue a case. Maybe you want to take on a pro bono client. Maybe you've always loved writing. Maybe you can make time for just one phone call or just one letter, a light lift for you that could make all the difference to someone who just needs help understanding their lease or clearing their records so they can get a driver's license or figuring out how to get a ballot so that they can vote. Don't give up on those things just because they're not automatically part of your job. You can work them in, blade by blade. Now, I have been lucky to have some incredible role models when it comes to working to make your work hours align with your values. My former boss, Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, had a career that was remarkable by any measure. She blazed a trail for women's equality. She became the second female justice on the United States Supreme Court. Her opinions and speeches are deservedly famous. But one aspect of her career that might get a bit less attention was just how against the wind she was running at every step along the way, how hard she had to push to forge a career that matched her values. She couldn't just ride the current. As a woman and already a mother in law school, she was asked why she was taking a seat that could have gone to a man. When setting out for her first job, she was confronted with employer after employer who didn't hire women, and certainly not mothers. As a litigator at the ACLU bringing test cases to advance gender equality, she carefully started with cases in which men were facing discrimination, suspecting the world was not ready for complaints of discrimination against women. As a scholar, she went where her interests led her, including to Sweden, to study comparative civil procedure, which was one of her other loves. Keep in mind that a career you value doesn't have to be a straight line. It can have zigs and zags. As a judge, she was willing to take unpopular positions, not to be provocative or flashy, but when she believed that they were the right thing to do. My second incredible role model is all of you, graduates. This capacity for reflection, this ability to ask, what do I value and how am I spending my time, is a skill that your graduating class has already shown time and again in your years here at the law school. When events on campus and beyond have run against your principles, you have found your voices and made them heard. When class discussions turn to tough topics, you tune in rather than out. When something has piqued your interest or sounded wrong to you, you have followed up and written marvelous journal comments and seminar papers. And your collective service in our clinics and our externships has led so many of you already to change other people's lives. Now that we have our two-step test in mind and have some role models for it, let me offer a few caveats and clarifications. First, the presumption is just a presumption. There will be times when you cannot do exactly what you have dreamed of. Indeed, even the suggestion that you can choose what to work on bespeaks enormous privilege. To the extent that you do have some say over your career, be grateful to those who came before you and be thoughtful about how you can elevate others. And don't mistake necessary hills from being in the wrong grassy field. There are, of course, times when you need to take one for the team, stay up late finalizing the exhibits or revising the brief. But really, you know all this. I have arguably just wasted 7 minutes of your time on review. You've dazzled us in law school. The legal world will be lucky to have your talents, your determination, and your commitment to putting the law into action. So I'm not worried about how well you will bring your work hours into alignment with your values. Here's what I am a little bit more worried about: that you might forget or let lapse all of those wonderful things that make you who you are outside of the office. So let's talk briefly about how to apply our two-step test in the personal realm. As those of you who have had me know, every year in my classes, we talk about the Februaries. Here's how it works. I tell you that, hey, during the month of February, some of us feel a little down. Why? Well, because it's dark, the days are short, it's really cold, and we're not almost there. So we all think of one thing that brings us joy, and we make a commitment that will make time for that thing every week in February. This February's promise is really just a version of our two-step test. At step 1, what do I value? We asked, what is it that will bring me joy in a long month? Disclosure of your February's pastime was never required, but some people shared anyway. Some of you were going to go dancing, or go ice skating, or call your mom. Moms, nice work on that one. At step 2, we asked, if I'm not doing that thing already, how can I make time for it? So what if you asked yourself that now? What was your February's pastime? Or what might it have been had you been in my class? How often have you done that thing you enjoy in the past month, the past year? Is it possible that, at least for some of us, the things we love most occupy just a tiny blade of grass in the field of our hours, days, and years? It's not because we don't want to do the things we love, right? It's just not always built in. It's not the path of least resistance. The American legal profession has not been great about this. Legal culture prioritizes work, professionalism, a sort of seriousness that might discourage you from taking that vacation, leaving early to catch a music show or your kid's sports game, from talking openly about your life milestones. But don't let anyone tell you that finding joy, love, and human connection make you an unserious person. In fact, if we've learned one lesson from this pandemic year, it might be that we can't go on without each other, without community, without the things that make you laugh. So we have to keep asking, what do I value and how am I spending my time? When it comes to making time for your passions and values and remembering to find time for your real self in every day, I have another notable role model, my 5-year-old daughter. Recently, it was time for her to start kindergarten. This was, as you can imagine, an affront to her autonomy. She wasn't sure about heading off to some place where she was not the boss. But after some efforts at persuasion on our part, she declared solemnly, I will go, but I will wear my green tutu. And off she went to the first day of kindergarten, kicking butt and taking names and learning how to read in a big, puffy green tutu. She was happy. So, class of 2021, it's time for me to yield the floor. I hope you will remember our two-step test as you embark into the bright future. What do I value? How am I spending my time? I hope you will decorate the fields of your wild and precious lives with many blades of grass that live up to your high values. And I hope that you will remember your green tutu. Congratulations, class of 2021. Go get them.
Our next 3 speakers will be highlights of today's ceremony. They are the graduate and JD speakers. The first speaker comes from our graduate program, where we welcome students who have already earned their first law degree. Most of our students in this program are from outside the United States. Yuan Ren was born and raised in Yantai, Shandong Province, China. She received her bachelor's degree in law from Shandong Normal University, her master's degree in international law from Tongji University, and her PhD degree in international law from Fudan University Law School in China in 2012. She was a Fox International Fellow at the Macmillan Center for Area and International Studies at Yale University from 2010 to 2011. Before attending UW Law School, she worked as an assistant research professor at the Polar Research Institute of China in Shanghai, where she participated in several international cooperation programs and turned her scholarly attention to polar law. She received her LLM degree from UW Law School in 2014 and became an SJD candidate in 2017. Her research interests include public international law, polar law, WTO law, and international dispute resolution. During her time at law school, she served as LLM SJD student representative at the Student Bar Association from 2014 to 2016, and worked part-time as an LLM discussion leader for international graduate students. Since August 2020, she has been a postdoctoral global fellow at the New York University School of Law.
Dear distinguished law school faculty, staff, family members, friends, alumni, and most of all, my fellow students of the class of 2021. My name is Yuan Yuan, and I'm extremely honored to be the graduate student speaker today. It's such a privilege for me to celebrate the graduation with you, even virtually, and to express my sincere gratitude to everyone who has supported me all along this journey. Today is a celebration day to all of you, my fellow students of 2021. Big congratulations on your success and graduation. We all know law school life is tough, and to some extent, we are trained to think negatively, to anticipate the worst case scenarios, and this pandemic has made it harder. But we did it and we survived. Today is an ending day. At least for me, I hope this is the last day of my prolonged legal education. Over the last 20 years, I have studied and taught at different law schools in China and the United States. How I understand and approach law in my 20s and 30s are quite different. In my 20s, for example, I was good at remembering the black letter laws. Many of our LM students, SJD students, we are from Asian, African, Latin countries. Many of our home law schools, if not all of them, still emphasize more on the black letter laws. Or it's just because I was younger, I had less real-world experience. Anyways, I didn't pay much attention to how the rules operate in the real society. So my experience at the UW Law School is very eye-opening, and it has significantly changed my worldview and my scholarship. We came here not only for have a strong taste of American law, but also we are educated or inspired to examine the role of law in the real society, to think about our responsibilities to our societies as lawyers, as legal academics, to be just a different kind of lawyers and scholars. As international students, we bring these experiences and thought home to our own legal practice and career. I think this is the way how our legal law tradition has such a worldwide impact and how we change this world. Well, nothing is perfect, right? I do have a quick suggestion for our law school. Could we bring our cafeteria back to our law building? Although I think the coffee at the educational is not bad. In closing, on behalf of the LM students, SJD students, HISTE fellows, I want to say thank you to all of the law school faculty, staff, especially the law library staff and the graduate programs office, Jason and Katerina, for your wonderful classes, mentorship, hospitality, friendship, and help to all of us. Personally, I want to say thank you to my wonderful supervisors, Professor Tai and Professor Belder, for invaluable advice and heartfelt support to me along the entire program. I'm also deeply grateful to Professor Cheryl, Hunis, Ashfa, Atapatu, Professor Church, and many other law professors here for your advice and support over the years. To my families and friends who now are watching this ceremony from China, Turkey, Ukraine, and all around the world, I miss you and I love you all. I hope to see you all soon again. Today is a new day, a new start, as we embark on our career as lawyers, advocates, all scholars all around the world. I wish you the best. Congratulations again, the class of 2021. Go Badgers, on Wisconsin.
Thank you so much. It is amazing to hear how our law in action way of teaching has changed your worldview and your legal scholarship. We are so proud to have you as a UW Law graduate, and we can't wait to see what you accomplish next. Our first JD student speaker is Brittany Miller. Brittany was born in New York, but considers North Carolina her home. She received her bachelor's degree in history and psychology from the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. Prior to law school, Brittany served 6 years in the United States Air Force as an air traffic control trainee and paralegal. Brittany has been an active student in our law school community. She was a student ambassador, a mock trial competitor, co-president of the UW Law Black Law Students Association, and a student leader in the Society for Education Law and Policy and for Queer Law Students Association. She was also a member of the JD Veteran Student Group and an ally to other affinity groups within the law school. She was awarded the Bruce Bilefus Memorial Award for Outstanding Service to the law school in 2020. Brittany is also a member of the Wisconsin Association of African American Lawyers, where she was the recipient of the 2020 WAAL Villandale Scholarship Award. Brittany enjoyed working with the local community, particularly with Tipping the Scales, a program which brings diverse attorneys into Madison East High School to teach high school students about current legal issues. If this extensive list of Brittany's activities isn't enough to show it, I can safely say Brittany fully jumped into this law school community and took as many opportunities to engage in academic and social opportunities as possible. After graduation, Brittany will be joining Michael Best and Friedrich here in Madison. I'm thrilled we are able to keep her here in Wisconsin, and she's gotten used to our cold winters. Please join me in welcoming Brittany Miller.
First, I want to say hello and thank you to our esteemed faculty, staff, and administration for the hours of instruction, the words of support, your kindness, and the pizza. Thank you for being what so many of us didn't realize we needed, but absolutely needed in those moments. Thank you for molding us into the advocates we are today, and for giving us the tools we'll need to continue to grow and change throughout our legal career. Also, thank you for turning this building into a second home for so many people, and for turning 280 strangers into friends. To the family and friends of the class of 2021, thank you for laughing and crying with us. Thank you for forgiving us the events that we either couldn't attend or we were able to come, but we were really preoccupied. Your love and support is what got us to this moment, and we wouldn't be here without you. So thank you for wrapping your arms around us, whether that was in person or from miles away, and lending us your strength to make it through one more class, one more test, and finally one last semester. To my parents, thank you for bearing with me through the tears and frustration that was final season. To my dear friends, thank you for reminding me to just relax and try to enjoy the law school process. To my dog Emmett, thank you for all the walks. To my mentors, many of whom have become like family, thank you so much for the tough love and compassion, the words of encouragement, and the gentle course corrections, especially you, Nicole. And to my grandfather, I don't have words enough to thank you for all the sacrifices you made to get me to where I am today. So for today, thank you will have to suffice. And now, to the class of 2021, we did it, y'all. I don't think a single one of us could have predicted the trajectory of our law school journeys, from floods and polar vortexes to global pandemics. Many of us have had to fight through law school, juggling being a student and also being an activist and an advocate for so many causes outside of this building in our larger community. We've fought long and hard to get to this moment. So whether you're the first in your family to graduate from law school or you come from a long line of lawyers, congratulations. Whether you did this law school journey alone or your significant other or children helped you with your reading assignments, congratulations. However you got to today, congratulations. This is a huge accomplishment, and I hope every single one of you gets the time to just sit and bask in the wonderfulness that is today. Now, as I thought about graduation and the other side of graduation and what that means for me, a couple of things came to mind. One was a quote from Audre Lorde where she says, "When I dare to be powerful, to use my strength in the service of my vision, it becomes less and less important whether I am afraid." I'll use that, and I hope a few of you will as well, as we go from this place to remember to embrace my whole self, to trust the process, and to know that everything is going to be okay, even when I am nervous. Another thing I wanted to share is something my grandfather has told me. He says, be careful. The light at the end of the tunnel might be a train. His oh so subtle reminder that as I go out into the world, continuing to chase my dreams, that I do so with a little bit of caution. The last thing I want to share with you is something I picked up from the military, and I'm sure a few of you have heard variations of it yourselves. It goes, "For the days are long, but the years are short." And that has absolutely been my experience here over the last 3 years. The days have both crawled and flown by, filled with great memories, a few challenges, and wonderful friends that I will take with me and help to continue to cultivate the attorney that I will eventually be. Now, as we all look towards the other side of graduation, I hope all of you remember that you are fearfully and wonderfully made for this position in this moment, whatever this position and this moment is for you. It is our job to go forth from these halls into the world and make our environments more diverse, more equitable, and more inclusive, remembering that we are stronger when we are together. It is also our job to go out into the community and be the voice for so many people who feel like they don't have a voice or feel like they haven't been heard. We also have the job, like those who came before us, to widen and lighten the path for those that are coming behind us. So class of 2021, there are causes, there are clients, there are people who have been waiting for us, for you, to get to this day. So I'll leave you with saying, congratulations, y'all. Now, let's get to work.
Thank you, Brittany, for that great speech. Your advice to remember our duty to be the voice for those who don't have a voice or whose voice isn't heard is a vital reminder of why we have chosen this profession. You will be a great advocate for your clients and for those who need you. Our final student speaker is Caitlin Kabahinakoa Iwohi. Caitlin was born and raised in Wailuku, Maui. She grew up primarily on the Pakokalo homestead, part of the approximately 200,000 acres of land that Congress set aside to establish a permanent land base for the benefit and use of Native Hawaiians. Caitlin received her bachelor's degree from Chaminade University of Honolulu. She is also an alumna of the Native American Political Leadership Program at George Washington University and the Washington Internships for Native Students program at American University. Prior to law school, Caitlin served in Washington, D.C. as a legislative assistant on the U.S. Senate Committee on Indian Affairs and in the office of U.S. Senator Brian Schatz and the Office of Hawaiian Affairs. In 2016, Caitlin participated in the AHA, a constitutional convention of Native Hawaiians, and she worked with roughly 120 participants in drafting a governing document that could be ratified by the Native Hawaiian people. During her time in law school, Caitlin served as co-president of the Indigenous Law Students Association and competed in the National Native American Law Students Association's moot court competition. She interned with the United States Department of Justice in the Office of Tribal Justice and was a summer associate at Denton's. After graduation, Caitlin will be starting as an associate at the Washington, D.C. office of Denton's, working with the Native American Law and Policy Practice Group. Please welcome Caitlin to the virtual stage.
Esteemed guests, faculty, family, and friends, thank you for joining us to celebrate in this momentous occasion. Today marks an important rite of passage, and I'm honored to have been chosen by my classmates to speak on behalf of the University of Wisconsin Law School class of 2021. What is remarkable about my fellow classmates are the ways that they use their time as students to intervene in our society, to organize, teach, petition, and protest. I want to share a quote by Lily Tomlin. She says, "I always wondered why somebody didn't do something about that. Then I realized I am somebody. The class of 2021 is heroic because they acted upon what they learned. They did something about it." I want to begin this ceremony by reflecting on where these ideals of justice and service began for many of us, in our homes and in our communities. However heroic our accomplishments may be, they are not ours alone. Behind each and every one of us is a story of parents who nurtured and sacrificed, of grandparents, uncles, and aunties who supported and sustained us, of brothers, sisters, cousins, and friends who stood by us and with us, of partners, spouses, children, and other loved ones who strengthened and inspired us. So we take this time to thank you, to acknowledge you, and to share in this accomplishment with you. As I thought about what I wanted to share with you all today, I asked myself, what does it mean to become a lawyer in the year 2021? People are facing unprecedented struggles. COVID-19 and the events surrounding it have changed our reality and exposed the inequalities, injustices, and dysfunctions in our current systems. This is also a moment of resistance. It has amplified our collective understanding that inequities beget inequities, and that some of our values and assumptions that we have taken for granted need to be challenged. In my language, hulihia is the Hawaiian word for overturn, a complete change, a turning upside down. It refers to massive upheavals that change the landscape and sweep away the prevailing or assumed. The term hulihia is referenced in chants that recount and describe destructive lava flows that upheave forests. My community back home witnessed this in 2018 when the flow overran a section in Puna on Hawaii Island. However, the overturning of land from a lava flow also brings new life, regrowth, rebirth, and resilience. The duality of hulihia is that from the upheaval, new perspectives arise, regrowth and expansion are encouraged. As graduates, we stand at a pivotal and promising embarkation point. This global condition of hulihia that we are in calls on us as new lawyers to navigate the complex legal dilemmas that accompany public crises and social upheaval. But implicit in every upheaval is the rising, the flowering up of something new. These are fertile grounds for regrowth, and we have an opportunity to use our legal acumen to help rebuild, to direct our best legal efforts to the places and the lives most in need of our protection, to call for a restructuring of all the fundamental systems rooted in forms of economic, racial, and social injustice. As our communities and economies reopen, what will it take to begin anew in ways that open doors for people rather than continue to foreclose them? How can we navigate gatekeeping in and around our legal system that so often silences, disempowers, and disenfranchises those at the margins of our society? As lawyers, we now have an obligation to use the law to advance the cause of justice. However, as I've been told, our success as lawyers will depend on our capacity to not just convey the law, but to tell the stories that lie outside it. As we know, the law has often obscured important stories and histories, whether through honest ignorance or purposeful omission. The degree we just earned will give us a role in shedding light on these narratives. Some of you will press facts into holdings when you begin clerking in a few months. Some of you will deliver compelling arguments to the state so that your clients may live. Some of you will be representing corporations, governments, and other organizations who will seek your counsel and rely on you to tell a story to achieve a desired legal result. Here is the moral. Do not yield back your time. In these days of Hulihia, it is our turn to give voice to those stories, the stories that rise from the lava and ashes, and to speak even if our voice shakes. I want to end by sharing a song. As we've navigated this new normal, music has played an essential role in nurturing our community's well-being, helping many of us get through days that felt increasingly difficult to hold together. In my culture, mele and oli, or Hawaiian songs and chants, are our primary vehicles to show reverence and honor, to grieve, and to celebrate. Our songs are a gift. This particular song was composed as a greeting of thanks for hospitality, generosity, and knowledge that has been shared. It is my gift and a way to thank my classmates, professors, and everyone who I've met on my law school journey. Uhola ia ka makaloala, pu'ai ke alohala, kuka'i ia ka haloala, pawehi mai nā lehua, mai ko'oku ia ka halawaila, mahalo e nā akua, mahalo e nā kupunala ea, mahalo me ke alohala, mahalo.
Thank you, Caitlin, for gifting us all with that beautiful song and encouraging us not to yield, but to be bold and to give back. And I couldn't agree more that we are stronger together. This concludes the formal speeches. Before we shift to recognizing each graduate individually, I want to take a brief moment to recognize someone our community tragically lost this spring, our beloved friend and colleague, Professor Trina Tinglum. Professor Tinglum was a graduate of UW Law and joined our faculty in 2012 after having served as an acquisitions editor at West Publishing, where I had the good fortune of getting to know her. She's been an extraordinary member of our community. Her devotion to her students and to our law school is legendary. Even after her diagnosis of colon cancer and during her treatment, Trina was offering virtual office hours to our students, which were, of course, filled to capacity. Professor Tinglum was a regular faculty member at many law school events, and especially at graduation. One of her greatest honors was to have a part in helping her students find their voice as attorneys. Her death is a tremendous loss for the school, our students, and our community. And now for the formal roll call, where each graduate will be named in alphabetical order by last name, organized by degree type. We will start with the JD graduates and then move on to the graduate students. Students were given the option to submit a photo and a quote to share with the audience. This is typically the time where family and loved ones will cheer and clap for their graduates. We encourage that, and I hope that wherever you are, you will still do it. Rise up for your graduate and cheer them all on when they are called.
Taylor Marie Abera-Story.
Jennifer Acevedo. George Alonso Acosta. Ali Ahmed. Caitlin Kawahinakoa Iwohi. Yona Allison. Amaki Amate. Amy Catherine Ambro. Justin Anderson. Rebecca Anderson. Aaron Bartenstein. Karen Jewett Bassler. Gerald Bilodeau. Rain Black. Nicholas Bloom. Isaac Stern Brodke. Megan Marcella Brodke. Jack Brooks. Harper Faith Brown. Margaret K. Berzkala. Sarah Butler. Sequoia Loriana Butler. Isabella Cafaro. Patrick Campbell. Emily Hoffman Capodarco. Luis Carreno Coriano. Abigail Taylor Chase. Sun Young Cho. Alyssa N. Shanaki. Cody Chura. Sarah Clapp. Josephine W. Clark. Connor James Clegg. Brandon J. Conway. Lily C. Cox. Catherine Cullen. Shelley Hesmundo Cupino. Samuel D'Amico. Monica Cassandra Delgado. Cece Elizabeth DeMarco. Nathan Dirge. Caitlin Victoria DeWitt. Gerardo Diegues Otero. Holland Dinas. Joseph Dobbs. Tara J. Dobbs. Michael Doring. Issa Doman, Jason Donker, Anthony L. Draper, Luke Dremel, Brianna Kristen Drozd, Corinne Therese Duffy, Benjamin Charles Eastman, Libby Ellsworth Kosh, Joshua Engelkammer, Nicholas Brock Anger, Carol Evelyn English, Elizabeth Euler, Monica A. Fallon, Christian Farina, Emma L. Ferguson, Ramel Figueroa, Connor Fleck, Corey R. Flynn, Juan Jose Fonseca Angel, Adam Fontana, Bethany Ann Fountain, Savannah M. Fry, Michael Friend, Forrest Gauthier, Alex Geller, Anya Gersov, Natalia Guess, Matthew Jaguar, Luca Giovane, Benjamin Jerdy, Daniel Gonzalez, Carla Gracia, Travis Gresham, Lorenzo Emmanuel Gudino, Casey Gurwitz, Thomas Haberkorn, Eli Hafez, Arian Hashemi, Tom Hazel, Gibson Hatch, Catherine E. Hayes, Abigail K. Heen, Hallie D. Heath, Abigail Grace Henderson, Alexander T. Henning, Navi Hira. Nathaniel Hoagland. Janae Hawkmuth. Colin Hoffman. Catherine Elizabeth Holloway. Tyler Holloway. Molly I. Horwitz. Brandon Thomas Huey. Brandon Hunziker. Samir Hussain. Emily Mariah Iverson. Yejin Zhang. Rachel L. Jensen. Jiabao Ji. Andy Johnson. Catherine Johnson. Kyle Johnson. Thomas Johnson. Kate Elizabeth Steffens Joyner. Emily Grace Jones. Brendan Juno. Susan Kanya. Samuel J. Cavalier. Sam Kahn. Gabrielle Kiefer. McKenna Kohlenberg. Lindsay Coles. Eugene T. Krako. Casey Kratochville. Amy Krivashik. Jenny Tsao Kumos. Nicholas Lacour. Alexander G. Lech. Kelly Lieben. Alexis Roxanne Leonard. Liz Leonard. Alyssa Leroy. Catherine Leverich. Douglas Hammond Lewis III. Yu Lin Lee. Rong Yi Lin. Michael Longley. Daniel Lurker. Brendan Lyman. Kendall Reed Maddox. Adam Malls. Jacob Margulies. Hunter Maud. Millen Marer. Adam Marer.
Joseph McDonald.
Andrea Meltzer. Camilo Mesa. Helenka Budzinska-Mietka. Brittany Miller. Saman Mirzayan. Kristen Moore. Leah N. Moon. Nicole Morley. Maggie Morris. Jessa Moser. Andy Mueller. Kelsey Mullins. Andy Muchler. Jeanette Nagel. Katie Naraki. Lo Nelson. Madeline Dawn Nelson. Abrielle R. Newman. Emily O'Brien. Brian Olig. Randall W. Ollie. Eric T. Olson. Courtney B. O'Reilly. Alicia Otten. Caitlin Pader. Molly Rebecca Pappenheim. James C. Paprocki. Lauren Marie Parker. Zebulon Paddock. Reagan Pauls. Elizabeth B. Pearl. Mike Flughoft Jr. Trenton Plitz. Elizabeth Platt. John Podol. Brandon Prasad. Christina Marcy Panadi. Safia Qureshi. Deepika Raj. Kaylin Raymaker. William Reeb. Jennifer Elizabeth Rechtenwald. Sean Reed. Patrick M. Reinbold. Beatrice Reiner. Dylan Resch. Evan C. Richtmeyer. Valerie Robert. Jordan Robinson Delaney. Heather Rohr. Brant Rowan. Rebecca R. Rosenthal. Jonathan Ross. Sam Ross. Anna O. Rossi. Andrew Rossman. Zeke Roth Reynolds. Christopher M. W. Rudolph. Hayden Rutan. Carla Saavedra Betancourt. Adrian Salmon. Lilian Ariadna Sanchez Porras. Manuel Sanchez Moyano.
Mandy Schaefer.
Claire Shively. Alexander Schmidt. Mason Philip Schroffnagel. Michael Schultz. Hannah Marie Schwartz. Jesse F. Schwartz. Olivia J. Schwartz. Amanda Ray Scott. Bella Seberg. Zoe I. Selman. Ty Sessoms. Matthew Zidell. Stephanie K. Seymour. Xin Shao. Chalisa Sims. John Smith. Naomi R. Smith. Brad Salden. Anthony Sparks. Philip Steigerwald. Grace Galen Stewart. Margaret C. Strawn. Aaron Strode. Henry A. Stroud. Paul Kerr Tadros. Nicholas Tanner. Vivian Tinhaken. Chelsea Thibodeau. Derek S. Thomas. Jake Thorne. Gabrielle R. Tileman Fenelus. Joshua Timmons. Peter N. Torella. Morgan Tomsick. Alexis Brianna Trost. Alfred Erfu Sai. Helen Chur. Hannah F. Tuttle. Noah Tylenda. Jordan Vassell. Julie Vernon. Nathan J. Vervelde. Christian Vu. Peter T. Vu. Lauren Walson. Patrick Aaron Ward. Eleanor L. M. Waters. Nathan John Watson. Dominic Weiss. Frankie Wormerskirchen. Alexander Whiteclay. Aaron O. White. Spencer J. Wingert. Jacob Wise. Caitlin Wolfinger. Corey S. Wood. Ashley Y. Chules. Senabu Yum. Emily Islas. Sojung Yoon. Mitchell Yerkowitz. Allison Zakon. Magnus Zonmuller. Bing Yu Zhao. Ning Liu Zhou. Zi Shi Zu.
Zhao Xin Zhang.
Yuan Yuan Ren. Angelica Guevara. Lan Jie Cao. Qi Cao. Adeola Adenike Fadipe. Yu Che Jia. Asia Kopech. Jia Qi Li. Zichen Lin. Nompilo Mlochwa. Livia Scroblin. Min Jen Sun. Qian Yan Sun. Wei Hao Shu. Jia Tong Zhong.
This closes the formal portion of the program. Thank you to our audience for taking some time to celebrate this great milestone in our students' lives. You are welcome to stay afterward and watch additional videos from our 2021 graduates. We also have written and video messages from our law school faculty and staff wishing our 2021 graduates the best. Graduates, you've made it through everything that's been thrown at you. It is my great honor to welcome our graduates to the UW Law alumni community. Today, you join over 15,000 living UW Law alums. We believe in you, we are proud of you, and we cannot wait to see what you accomplish in the years to come. Congratulations, and on Wisconsin.